How have you been? How's retirement?
Good. I served this country for many years. But maybe this is time I need to retire and watch things. I'm still capable of commenting these things in the world, in this country.
Let's talk about something that has been in the news lately in Naivasha, just the other day.
It's unfortunate that people got in, burned houses without really finding out why they were there. And it was not right. I think it's just a few people who were employed, I think by some pretending or landowner to evict them aside. And I hope they leave them alone because that is part of their land. Yeah.
You were the defender of the Maasai in your times in politics. Now you're not there. Who do you think is defending the Maasai community?
We'll watch who is coming out because I did my best in defending the community, in defending their land rights. The people of Kenya know that. The Maasai know that. Let us see whether we got another leader who will defend his own people.
If you look back, do you think you did a great job? Do you have any, do you feel there are bits that you could have done better while you're the leader of this?
I did my best. I don't know about better, but I did my very best to defend them, and I sacrificed my time.
Any regrets?
No. No. No regrets at all. I was happy that I did that for many years, for about 25 years or more.
Let's talk about your time in government. You served for over 25 years. You've been involved in many ministries. You've been involved with many people. How do you remember those times? What do you think is your major contribution?
I was a minister for all these 25 years. And I thank my friend, President Moi, because he appointed me minister in 1988. And the rest, and Kibaki followed, and I have been a minister for all these years. And I think I did my duty normally. Yeah.
Speaking about the former president, what do you remember of him?
He's a great man. I mean, he's a great man. I mean, although we've got problems in Kenya, we've had problems in Kenya, but he's definitely did his best also as a human being.
Many people would say during Kanu's time, Moi's time, this country degenerated into, it got into a worse place as it was. That is the agreed position now. What would you say, given that you served in this government?
Better in Kenyatta's time. We were also a police state. During then, people disappeared. People were arrested even in parliament and breaking the laws. People were detained. There were people assassinated. And you can't say that even the previous one was better than Moi one. The torture chambers came in. And all this thing. We have actually been skirting around the police state all this time.
Do you think that's what we have now in this new government?
We must defend the Constitution. All leaders who took the oath must defend this Constitution. Because if we don't, the way we see things going, the war between Parliament and the Senate, the fact that people like Isaac Ruto are being attacked by defending the Constitution and by supporting devolution, we could degenerate into another police state, and people could go all the way to abrogate the Constitution, and then we are in trouble.
What do you think about this constitution in terms of those transferring powers? William Ruto, the deputy president, has said, that the country needs to go to some sort of a referendum so that we talk of a position that is in the law.
If everybody really and every institution done their job properly and defended this constitution, we have no need of going to a referendum. The referendum will be probably because some people are pushing us to go to a referendum. You remember very well when this constitution was being created, over 70% of the people supported this constitution. And we must be serious that the people supported this constitution. But there were also a few people who really came out and abused, scandalized this constitution. And unfortunately, they're in the leadership. So we must watch, because these are the people who could lead us into another abrogation of the constitution. The Red Brigade, you remember? The people with red shirts who went all around this country abusing and scandalizing this constitution. I thank Kibaki and Uhuru, even they stood firm until we were able to inaugurate this constitution.
What's the relationship with the former President Moi? How often do you see him?
Well, I say we are friends, and so occasionally I can pick up a phone, call him, and he can say, come and we have a cup of tea.
You think he's happy with his contribution in this country? Is he a happy man?
Yeah, he's okay. He's supporting this constitution too.
You also worked with former President Kibaki, many years in KANU, and then worked also for him as a cabinet minister. What do you...
Good man too. But this country, all the time, was degenerating, either through people want the rule, one-man rule, or a junta, or something like that. We have never really come out clean out of the police state. And unless we are careful, we could plunge ourselves into it again. Where people want a unitary system of government, a central system of government, which devolution does not support. A one-man rule, we don't want it that one anymore. We want a rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. Abraham Lincoln, he said so. Listen to this one again. America was divided into those who supported slavery and those who did not. So the country was split into two. And Abraham Lincoln came out and said, I'll defend the Union, bring them together at all cost. I cannot rule America when half is free and half is slave. So we must watch out so that we don't marginalize other people while we are making the constitution.
There's a conversation now in the country about your former friend, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, that should retire from politics altogether. I don't know what your view is in terms of, do you think he's done his best? He
cannot retire. There are too many things happening in Kenya that we need him. We need an opposition. We need somebody who will show us the other side. Yeah, and these people must be fair. If what they treated to Kibaki, they should treat it to Raila Odinga. If Kibaki has cars. Why not Odinga? And they served for 5 years together. In a coalition government.
There's been, that talk is, they say that there's a generational change, that there's a generational change, that the young people have come through and they've taken over leadership, that the old people, the old folk should retire, that old people should leave politics. The conversation is that, people who've been there in a while, they should leave politics.
It is not fair. We need them, at least to defend the poor, to support the rule of law, and to stop marginalization of other communities, and so forth.
Looking back in your times and life in government and in service, what is your best moment? What do you think is your best moment?
When the leaders started to frame up this constitution, because as I have told you, the Lancaster House Constitution was abrogated. We had problems with the other regimes that followed. And I thought this devolution, I saw this government of devolution was going to work to give the people their rights. And what I mean is to give people the right to decide on their own destiny. That's what it is. If we interfere, too bad. Yeah.
What's your worst moments while in the? If you look back, what would be your worst moments? If you look back in the last,
Well, don't forget I was also harassed a lot, but in Maasai land because the government thought I was inciting the Maasai. And I was detained in Nakuru for 102 days, sleeping on the floor. So that was my worst moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That statement that you made then, that the government used to say that you used to harass, the Kikuyu community,
No, I never harassed them. I only, there was an invasion of some people into Maasai land, into our grazing areas, into the forest, into the water catchment areas. And we had to tell them to stop because the people were asking, what is the water? And it is this water that caused a lot of trouble because it was not flowing into the ranch area. So I'm not against them. I am against destruction of some resources that are supposed to help other people.
Did the invasion stop, as you call it?
Not very much. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the Narasha thing and some of these things, people being moved around from their own homes, and it's not very comfortable.
How do you explain what happened in this last election in the Maasai community?
Who was divided, who was split. Many of our people were bought and sold. So it has never been like this before. We have always been a united community. This time around, I don't know whether it is the money or what, but we were split. We were literally fighting among ourselves.
What changed among the community? Because the community is known to be very united. What changed?
I still don't know. Money and, lies and psychopaths. I was actually going to say, looking at what happened in my community, I think the citizens should be very careful to elect leaders with principles and not psychopaths or bootlickers who have no principle. I don't want to mention them, but there are quite a number of them.
I'm going to ask you about your relationship with certain people. Let me start with the president, Uhuru Kenyatta. Have you met him? Is he your friend?
Yes, I met him.
What kind of a person
We're in
is
the
he?
cabinet together for 10 years, and I have a lot of respect for him, actually. I like the way he's fighting to finish drugs and that engulfs his country. I think he's doing his best.
Deputy President William Ruto.
He's all right too, but I haven't had a lot of meeting with him.
The last election, he didn't have very kind words for you.
He didn't. He didn't.
Raila Odinga.
He's a good man. I mean, he suffered for many years, but I think he should continue because the end of the journey has not come to this country. We still have got a lot of other things to do.
Kalonzo Musyoka.
He's also doing his best. I don't want to talk about personalities today, but I'll talk on one personality, and that is Isaac Ruto. We have been in parliament with him for 20 years, and I know him so well. He's not the kind of person you can bundle up and toss him around. He has principles. And anybody who's trying to do that must be careful, because the man is doing no other thing except defending the Constitution. You see, this is why the governors elected him. So what's wrong with it? Like all of us, or like all of them this time round, they have taken an oath to defend this Constitution. So what's wrong? What's gone wrong? These amendments are no good. You see, the American Constitution is a model of the world. It's federal, and the whole world is federal, as I've told you before. So, the world is going into federalism, and we should accept it, where people want to be in charge of their own destiny, as I've just told you. So I have not seen anything wrong that Ruto has done to be impeached. And these people must be careful, because Ruto is made of sterner stuff, like Shakespeare says. And he's not about to be tossed and thrown around when he knows he's right. He's got his own people of South Rift. Don't forget. I also want to say, it is not right. You see, right now, we've got a problem of the provincial administration trying to impose themselves into the counties. And yet the Constitution here says that it will be restructured, so that it can fit into the counties and many other things. In any case, the provincial administration, since the white man was authoritarian, so you can't blame them by bringing the authority. Yeah.
Is there a chance you will leave retirement, maybe in the near future, and get back to active politics or something?
No more politics. I can give you my views, but not more active politics. I can talk to the Maasai elders, I can talk to you, but not more active politics.
When did you make the decision of no more politics?
When I was thrown out, because I didn't believe my family here told me not to stand, but the people fill this kiwanja and say stand. But the way we saw it is that there was some frown in the whole thing, and I'm not going to back on that one.
If you were to advise Kenyans as final thoughts, what would you tell Kenyans?
To defend the Constitution at all costs. Because it is a good Constitution. the inauguration of this constitution was good. And it gives people the right to decide their own destiny. And not to let people, hypocrites, mess this constitution up.